Hi everybody and welcome to Hann-Made Studio. I'm Cheryl Woodlock. Today I'm going to show you guys how to paint your flowers. So we are going to go from this to this with our underglazes. Stay tuned to find out more. The materials that you are going to need for today's class, you are going to need some soft brushes. These are sable brushes. They're beautiful and soft, which gives me a lovely even coverage. So a good brush is absolute necessity. The other thing you are going to need is your underglazes. Now I've got two different ranges here. I've got a Duncan's range. So I can show you how to do the Duncan's, and I've also got a Clayworks brand which is here in Australia. Duncan's is American, Clayworks is Australia. Both are pretty good, it just depends. You've just got to practice with each of them. The other thing that you are going to need is 2 containers for rinsing out your brushes. You will need a paint palette. Now I just used an ice cream lid. That works really well for me. You can use anything that you like. You might even want to use a plate, will work really well too. So that's about it, and we'll see you soon. Welcome back. A couple of things you need to know before you actually start painting. Underglazes go under a glaze, so they are just a flat color. When you look at this color chart, you will notice that part of it is shiny, the other part is flat. The flat bit is just the underglaze, then a clear glaze goes over the top. So that is an underglaze. The other reason we use underglazes, they stay exactly where you put them. So your brush work actually shows up really beautifully. Also, the color stays exactly where you put it, which is really important when you want crisp, clear lines. Now, the other thing you need to know is that your work area must be absolutely clean. If you have dust anywhere, it settles on your clay and the underglaze actually doesn't stick. It will peel off. Not in the first firing, it will peel off when you actually glaze. So you need to make sure it's clean. So I've got a clean sponge here and I'm just going to gently, that's very gently, wipe the dust. Another thing too is, remember when you are making your work, once it's fired, put it in a container with a lid on the top. That way it stays clean and you don't have to do all the wiping back. I've got a color chart here. This is for the Duncan underglazes. When you have a look, it goes 1, 2, 3 coats. So we have 1, 2, 3 brush strokes. That gives me an idea of how strong the pigment is. So with the Clayworks underglazes, it's really hard to say. When you use the Clayworks underglazes, they are actually a lot stronger pigment, which can be really good, but sometimes you want something more subtle. So you might have to tone them down a little bit with a little bit of water to make them more translucent. It's up to you the sort of look that you want. So with the Clayworks one, they say 1 to 2 coats. With the Duncans, they say 2 to 3 coats. Some of the colors I recommend 4 coats. Now I've got 2 containers of water to do my rinsing out. When I do my rinsing out of my paintbrush, I actually start on my right hand side first. So that's my first clean, and the second clean is in the next paintbrush. So I go from right to left. The reason I use 2 is you'll find later that this is going to get, the right hand one's going to get dirty really quickly. The left hand one will stay cleaner. So when you have 2 containers of water, it is easier to keep your brushes clean. I like working on an ice cream lid. The reason is that it's plastic, it's soft. These have been bisque fired. That means they've been fired up to 1000 degrees centigrade. You don't have to bisque fire your work first. I bisque fire it first because it's stronger to play with and handle. So I'm going to be using the Clayworks colors. This is the Clayworks yellow 050050, and this is the mango 051 underglaze. So I'm going to use the yellow first. Now, this particular flower was stippled, which stippling is where you get your brush and you just gently press it down. So it's just gently stippling. Now, when you use these colors, shake them first. What's happened here, if you have a look at this mango, there's all the fluid at the top and the color, the heavier sediment, the colors have settled down to the bottom. I'm just going to squeeze out some of the yellow, and I'll squeeze out a little bit of the orange. And I've got several different sized paint brushes. What I might use is this one, having a look at it when I press down, that's going to work really, really nicely. The other thing is make sure your hands are all clean, that you don't have any oil on your hands either. If you've got oil on your hands, what will happen is that will stop the color from sticking to your clay. Now, I'm going to just dip my paintbrush in. And then I'm just going to do a very gentle stipple, just getting that running. Okay. I'm going to start from the bottom, that's going to be stronger, and then work my way out. Again, dip your paintbrush, do gentle stipples, start from the inside where it's stronger, and work your way out. Now, if I want to make the inside a little bit stronger, my first coat, coat number one, I have to wait for that to dry. I can use a heat gun, but that's looking pretty dry now, so I can then get my second coat on. There you go. Now I'm going to use the mango. So I'm now going to use the mango, which is this one. I'm going to clean my paintbrush. So into that one first, give it a squeeze. Into the next one, just get rid of the last paint. So I'm now going to use mango, draw that color out slightly. Give it a bit of a stipple. And I'm going to start from the inside again. Now I can wait for that to dry, and then I can do another coat at the bottom. So this time I'm not going to go up as high, I'm just going to go just around the bottom. And I'm going to colour that center there. So that is now coloured. Now, tangerine was the colour that I used in the middle, and I don't want to use it too much. So again, shake the bottle and just a touch. I'm just going to put a little bit there. Now, that's a really, really strong colour that I have there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these two colours together. So I'm going to put a little bit of this out, and I'm going to add a little bit of tangerine. And I'm just going to then, inside, and that gives me a softer gradation of colour. There you go. And that one is done. Now wipe this back. Make sure it's clean. It's going to be a little bit different. And this time we're actually going to brush them. So the colors are going to be brushed on. So I'm going to use the canary yellow first, and that is the canary yellow. Again, give it a good shake. The other color that I'm going to be using is the sun gold yellow. And that's the sun gold yellow there. Looking at the paintbrush, seeing how it brushes on, that will work nicely. So load up the paintbrush. So you put it in both sides, and we start at the bottom and brush up. Okay. Load up the brush. Again, next petal. Press down hard, flick up. Hard, flick up, hard, flick up, hard, flick up. Now you can see that is darker where it was wet, and now it's lighter where it's dry. I'm going to put my second coat on, and my second coat is going to start here and just go up halfway. So load up my paintbrush. Now it's taking longer to dry because there has been more water added. I can speed it up by putting a heat gun or a hairdryer on it. Now I'm going to start using this color, which is the sun gold. And I'm going to use a smaller brush again. So this is a slightly smaller brush than that one. Load it up. And flick. And again, wait for it to dry. And then we'll do another coat at the bottom, just going up to there. And then I just want to do the center. Now I have a neon orange, which is very similar to the orange peel over here. So just a little bit of that color. And I'm just going to blend some of that with a little bit of that neon. There you go. So and that is done. They're finished. We've got two different looks using two different brands of underglazes. It doesn't matter what brand of underglaze you use, it just depends what's more readily available and more cost effective for you. They are going to go into the kiln to be bisque fired again. If I don't bisque fire them again, I won't set the color to the clay. Color might lift off. By doing a firing first, we are securing that color to the clay body. Very much for watching Hann-Made Studio. I'm Cheryl Hann-Woodlock saying thank you for watching. Bye. If you liked what I did today, please hit the like button and also remember to ring that bell and subscribe. I'm Cheryl Hann-Woodlock from Hann-Made Studio saying thanks for watching. Bye.